Good evening. Welcome to the Dearwood Realty Show. I'm John Schink, founder and managing broker of Dearwood Realty in St. Louis, Missouri. Well, we're going to talk about something granular and odd in the real estate world, and that's the ongoing fight between the National Association of Realtors, the Department of Justice, major brokerages, franchise brokerages, and how they're trying to just get rid of the little guy like me. I mean, they want nothing to do with small brokerages. I mean, that's obvious. I'm pretty sure it's a power play, but I don't know. It's one of those things that I just watch in amazement because I'm just getting hit with all ends. I mean, not to mention the market's terrible right now for me. So it's just odd. But let's get into it real quick. I want to do an overview, and then we'll go into the granular stuff, and we'll go that way. So here we go. This is from Mike DelPreet. This is a guy that follows the online brokerage model and understands it, kind of has understood the history of real estate brokerages and how they make money and how things go. And we're just going to go through the whole article because it's that good. He says, while the public debate swirls around NAR's clear cooperation policy, behind the scenes, Compass has steadily built up an exclusive inventory of over 7,700 listings. Well, so let's talk about this. First of all, what's clear cooperation? Basically, we have to put, if we list a property as a real estate agent licensed through our association with the National Association of Realtors and our MLSs, we have to put a listing that we take. It has to be active within the MLS within a certain amount of time. And then what's an exclusive listing? An exclusive listing is a listing that does not go on the MLS. So that's a weird thing. And the reason why they came up with the clear cooperation policy, which is not perfect, is they were trying to avoid, in my opinion, they were trying to avoid things like blockbusting, racial issues as far as not showing houses to certain groups, discrimination issues. It was just, it's a terrible thing to do to exclude listings from the general public, in my opinion. And the clear cooperation policy was designed to make it so that you couldn't really do that. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that underlying thought. Implementation is terrible. All kinds of things are bad about it, but just generally, at the end of the day, the best chance that you have of selling a property is through the MLS. As far as getting your listing out to the millions of people that like to look at online portals. And so back in my days when I was a real estate investor working for a real estate investor company, the first thing they would do is say to somebody that walked in the door, hey, you don't want to put your property on the MLS. You don't want people that you don't know walking through your house. You just want to sell it fast. And so you should just use our number. And so you avoided something called price discovery, which is you basically it's not an arm's length transaction anymore. And so what you do is you end up with these people that end up selling for far less than they could have gotten in the open market. That's just from my experience. I'm sure that other people may think otherwise, and that's totally good. Just so we're clear, I'm on the path of property should be on the MLS. Anything for sale should be on the MLS. How you go about doing that, it's all up to you. Do I think that pocket listings or exclusive listings are good for the industry? Absolutely not. And that's just where I'm at. So anyway, why it matters. Exclusive inventory represents a way for agents and brokerages to exert more control over their listings and has the potential to materially shift existing power dynamics across the industry. Actually, it's a way for the real estate agent to get both sides of the deal, which is better margins for the brokerage. Anyway, private exclusive listings, as opposed to coming soon, are not publicly advertised. A consumer needs to connect with a Compass agent for access. So yes, there will be now 7,700 listings that are not available to the general public and only available if you have a Compass agent. How convenient. Private exclusives account for roughly 30% of all Compass listings, including other 1,400 coming soon listings, brings that to 35%. So the coming soon listings, I don't count those as exclusive listings because in our MLS, at least, you can put a coming soon for, I think it's 21 days. And that's at least got it in the MLS. So we're going to kind of drop the coming soon part. I'm not going to worry about it too much. Underlying this push is Compass's three-phase marketing strategy, which encourages homeowners to start with private exclusive before listing on the MLS. Terrible idea. And it appears to be resonating with agents and consumers so far. 55% of all new listings in February started as a private exclusive or coming soon. There's a way to market the exclusive listings. Oh, look, your listing is so important. Your house, Mr. Homeowner, your house is so important that it shouldn't go on the MLS. It should stay within our area so that we can really control everything about the listing. That's how you would sell that. There are broad implications of the rise of the exclusive inventory, interestingly reminiscent of the evolution of video streaming. And I thought this was a great setup. There was a time when Netflix, containing nearly all streaming content, was the only game in town, but more recently, other content creators like Disney and Apple have launched their own streaming platforms. On the one hand, it's more time-consuming and expensive for consumers to visit and pay multiple services to get what they want. The one-stop shop marketplace is gone. But on the other hand, consumers now have a choice, and that has spurred platform innovation and billions of dollars in content creation. But what about profitability? What about sustainability over the long term? Can we really operate with 16 different streaming services? Yes, but video streaming is not real estate. I get it, but it's an interesting thought experiment. Exclusive inventory is the norm overseas, but I don't care. I'm not overseas. So I don't care. It says in 2021, I wrote about exclusive content being a top threat to real estate portals. In 2019, I wrote about Compass's endgame, and Compass isn't alone. Opendoor is experimenting with exclusive inventory. However, on Opendoor, they've always had a free pass with me in this regard. They actually own the house. They bought the house, they own it, and they can do whatever they want to from it. That's why I think there's a big difference between what Compass is doing and what Opendoor is doing. Well, I don't understand Opendoor's business model. They seem to buy high and sell low, which seems like a terrible idea. Their listings seem to lag on the market, at least in my market. Maybe somewhere else they do better, but they own the house. Okay. And how they buy the house at a lower interest rate than anybody else can get, that's another discussion for another day. But at the end of the day, they own the house. And if you're an owner of a home, you're allowed to do whatever you want to. I don't care. Now, if you're being a brokerage and you're stuck with these rules that we have, then I do care about exclusive listings. I think that that's a terrible thing for the industry. So anyway, he goes, the bottom line, there's a lot of talk on conference stages and op-eds, but Compass is focused on action by steadily building up large supply of exclusive inventory. This to me reminds me exactly of the iBuyer craze, 5-10 years ago? Everyone was talking about iBuyers and how great it was. Zillow lost their ass in iBuyers. Like they lost $439 million in a quarter once, and had to shut it down. Redfin was in on the game. They had theirs and they had to shut theirs down. This is one of those things where we're going to do, it's supposed to be a tech disruption, but it ends up really biting somebody, because I guarantee you will be able to do a fair housing violation on these people at some point in time that do these exclusive listings. I guarantee it. And it will be a field day for trial lawyers. But anyway, let's continue down the path and let's see what it goes. So it says, regardless of which side you're on, the rise of exclusive content is inarguably an industry needle mover, and things are about to get really interesting. They absolutely are. Everything in the industry is moving in that direction. So Robert Refkin is the, I believe, founder and CEO of Compass. Yes, founder and CEO of Compass. So he is like, they were one of the fastest growing brokerages ever. I believe they're like number 1 or number 2 right now as far as total agents. They have trouble making money on a consistent basis. And somebody cynical might argue that they're just out to disrupt the industry by making the profit so small that only the largest can compete. But I mean, let's just stick to this particular situation. And he wrote, this morning, Inman featured an op-ed piece I wrote showing the top 10 questions Compass agents have been asking me ever since our industry collectively paid $1 billion for mandatory NAR and MLS rules. I don't have the answers to these questions, but I know that agents across the country deserve those answers. So, okay. So now I'm just going to go to the questions. Here's the article. There was a little link there. So here we go. He starts off, I've always appreciated Gary Keller's leadership for our industry. When many leaders are silent, he is outspoken, saying things like, oh, by the way, Gary Keller is from Keller Williams, if you don't know. NAR sold us out a long time ago. The thing that drives you absolutely crazy is a trade association is not supposed to be in your business. NAR did sell us out a long time ago. but they sold us out to large brokerages. So that's absolutely true. As long as you have the right to your work product, you're okay. The second that an MLS or NAR or anybody else decides you can't decide on your own, if you want Realtor.com to have it or Trulia to have it or Zillow, then you've lost control of the industry. As long as it's your decision, we're good. And anything I put on the MLS goes and gets put out in third-party portals. The dumbest thing we've ever done is sell the portals. I mean, just stupid. It was just stupid. And I'll be honest with you, if you go on my website and if you do searches for properties, it is not as good as Zillow's. That's why people use Zillow. It's good. It works. Now, when you inquire about a property, you get 17 phone calls within the first minute. Then it gets a little rough, but that's on you. You should know better by now. He says, I didn't fully appreciate the context of these quotes until the National Association of Realtors settlement, when our industry collectively paid $1 billion for mandatory NAR and MLS rules. After such a public failure, I had thousands of agents ask me the following questions I don't have good answers. Now, I'm going to respond. There's another agent going to respond out of Washington, D.C. But I just want to go over the questions, and it's a fascinating discussion, and it's fair. But at least with Refkin, he's putting it out there. His position is no clear cooperation, exclusive listings, which will kill small brokerages across the United States like mine very quickly. And that's the deal. I mean, that's why you're in business, I guess. So question number one, why did NAR MLSs give our listing away to the portals? Why won't the MLS let me write in the listing description that I'm the listing agent, which would create more transparency for buyers when they're searching for the portals? So in a lot of the portals like Zillow, if I'm the listing agent, it shows me as the number one agent. If I'm not signed into Zillow, though, it goes to whoever's advertising for the zip code. I don't know why they give it away. It just seems stupid. It always did seem stupid. But why would you write in the description that you're the listing agent when it's already known that you're the listing agent as far as for Zillow? Probably also Realtor.com, but I'm not sure. But what is the point of the portals? The point of the portals is to get buyers to they like to look at houses, and you're providing that service. So they don't care about the listing agent. You've already got your cut. Now, what's fascinating now with the NAR settlement is now you can go after both sides. It's a very fascinating. You always could go after both sides, but now it makes it more blatant, which is, I think, one of the failures of the settlement. Number two, why won't the MLS let agents watermark their own photos, but then the MLS watermarks them? That has been a lawsuit. And right now, if I have photos of a property, they are not mine. I cede them over to the MLS. Whatever. I mean, I spend thousands of dollars on photos on some properties that are needing that kind of exposure. I mean, it's odd, but at the end of the day, really, like, it gets weird, because say the seller wants to cancel their listing with me. Well, if I paid for the photos, are they mine or are they the seller's? To have access to the MLS, why am I forced to join and pay 3 different associations, NAR, state, and local associations? It's a good question. It's a good question. Are the numerous lawsuits against NAR's 3-way agreement justified? Who knows? How could maximum exposure equals maximum price be true, or the MLS study claiming the MLS homes for 17.5% more on the MLS be true, when the most sophisticated and profit-driven sellers of real estate, developers, and home builders sold over 300,000 homes off the MLS last year? Well, let's be honest. Builders want to sell their own product that they own, okay, through their own agents so that they can not spend as much on commissions. That's a very easy answer, and he knows that. Why do real estate developers and home builders not have to follow clear cooperation while individual homeowners have to follow it? They own their own properties. There's your answer. How many homeowners are aware that clear cooperation forces them to give the MLS their listing after one day of any form of public marketing? Well, it's written in the agreement, at least in mine, at my board. It says, like, we're required to put this out there. Now, you could opt out, Okay, but then I can't market the property a certain way, and it's interesting. Cooperation through the MLS was designed decades ago for agents to share the listings with agents and other brokerages. Why are agents now forced to cooperate with portals, companies without agents, listings, or clients whose business model is to sell leads, not home? Why are buyer inquiries sold to the highest bidder instead of going to me, the agent who knows the home best? It's never been about the listing agent. Just never has. Why is the Department of Justice investigating NAR's clear cooperation policy? Why did the judge in the lawsuit between DOJ and NAR say that the DOJ believes that the clear cooperation policy restricts home seller choices and precludes competition from new listing services? I saw that the DOJ asked NAR to change the clear cooperation to allow homeowners 60 days to publicly list off the MLS. Why is NAR not doing what the DOJ asked? It's a question that I don't have a desire to get into because it would go forever. My client is asked not to have price drop history and days on market on their listing. Why won't my MLS allow me to do what my client has asked? It's a very fascinating question. The price drop history means you've priced the property way out of the price range, and days on the market is the same thing. So why, it's just, you don't like the MLS. You want exclusive listings. You want both sides of the deal. That's it. That's your answer. But anyway, in response to questions like these, why does the MLS say if you don't like our rules, then you don't have to be a member of the MLS? When they know agents can't do their job without MLS access, and that rules like clear cooperation have prevented competition from any alternative listing systems that could provide me with more than one single choice, my local MLS. Well, the fact of the matter is you've got the law coming in and saying this is what the MLS has to be. This is an untenable position. We will have change in the real estate industry. I have no doubt. So anyway, so that was that. Now I'm going to go, this is Khalil El-Ghoul. He is a real estate agent out of Washington, D.C., and he is on top of things as an agent. And I want you to understand something, just from my perspective. Agents are out there every day dealing with the general public. It's not the brokerages. Robert Refkin is not dealing with anybody, any day, no sellers, no buyers, probably hasn't seen one in 20 years. So it's very important to know people on the ground that are actually working within this. I'm working within this and it sucks. Okay. It just sucks. The whole settlement sucks. The clear cooperation isn't right. The National Association of Realtors has a real problem. I mean, it's one thing after the other. It's not a good time to be in the industry right now. But anyway, so let's just go over it. So the answer to question one was for him is why did the NAR give our listings away to the portals? And his answer was consumers want easy access to listings. Zillow and Redfin filled that demand. Sellers want to be on these platforms. That's 100% true. Number two, why won't the MLS let agents watermark? He says consistency. I kind of went through it with the way I think it's set up. Number three, to have access to the MLS, why am I forced to join and pay 3 different associations? Without them, the industry would be overrun with unethical behavior. Just look at the history, blockbusting, steering, and discrimination. That's absolutely true. However, do we need 3? Number 4, how could maximum exposure equal maximum price be true? Or the MLS study claiming homes sell for 17.5% to be true? The builders list representatives home in the MLS for maximum exposure. They know the MLS brings buyers. The 17% premium is real, and this is straight up misleading. Show me a builder who doesn't use the MLS. You can't. He's got a point. Number 5, why do real estate developers and home builders not have to follow clear cooperation while individual homeowners have to follow it? And number 5's answer from Khalil is builders sell their own homes so they naturally have their best interest in mind, but agents have a conflict of interest when keeping listings in-house benefits them financially. That's the exact right answer. They own their own listings. That's totally different. Number 6, how many homeowners are aware that clear cooperation forces them to give the MLS their listing after 1 day of any form of public marketing? If agents do their job right, sellers know about clear cooperation up front. 99% of sellers want maximum exposure, which is 100% right. Cooperation, number 7, cooperation was designed by the MLS decades ago for agents to share their listings with agents at other brokerages. For that answer, he says, you already answered this in number 1, but okay. The system is not perfect, but consumers want a transparent and open marketplace, which is a service that these portals provide. They need to make money. And I totally agree. It's messed up. Clear cooperation is messed up. It should be fixed. But fixing it isn't as easy as just waving a magic wand. Number 8, why is the DOJ investigating NAR's clear cooperation policy? The DOJ also opposes office exclusives because they limit competition. The DOJ wants decoupling of commission, but Compass still advertises seller paid commissions on its website. Ooh, that was a dig. That was harsh. That was him. It wasn't me. Why my client asked not to have price drop history and days on market on their listing. Why won't the MLS allow me to do what the client has asked? Clients ask all sorts of things that we can't do. We have rules. Don't forget, sellers are also buyers, and they want transparency. We do get all kinds of questions that are just like not allowed to do that. Number 10, in response to questions like these, why does the MLS say if you don't like our rules, then you don't have to be a member of the MLS? I thought sellers made more money off the MLS. Pick a lane. So only if you can't double-end a deal in-house, then you will put it on the MLS. Got you. And that's at the end of the day, this is about double dipping for a brokerage. It's not even necessarily if two Compass agents know about a deal, it still benefits Compass over anybody else. So that's that. So let's get into some other things. So here he is coming at him again. He says, Compass CEO Robert Refkin is pushing a blatant lie. He claims that builders and developers, the most sophisticated sellers, sold 300,000 homes off the MLS. That's incredibly misleading because those builders list representative homes on the MLS, not every single lot. He knows this. Builders go to great lengths to maximize exposures, not limit it. The worst part, he's misleading the very sellers he claims to help. Coaching agents to convince sellers to restrict their listings to Compass agents under this is false pretense and is unethical. I hope people see through it. I just want to make sure I've got my stuff in order. He's absolutely right. What you'll see on a new construction listing is you'll see a model of the home that's supposed to be built. So I know this one company out in St. Charles and Troy, they name all their developments after like wine, and they name their houses after wine. And so you'll get like, the Merlot house, and it'll be this house, and it'll be, you'll see that online, and then you can customize the Merlot house when you go out and talk to the builder, and you can pick the lot and everything like that. So that totally. But we need to get to the point where we're sophisticated enough to just say, look, people are advancing their motives or their beliefs, and they will use whatever information they can and twist it however they can to make it fit their narrative. It doesn't mean that the information is wrong. It doesn't mean that it's not true. It doesn't mean that it's not factual. It just means that somebody has to twist it a certain way to make it work. That's my opinion. So here he is again. He says, there was a tweet from him, from Refkin, about ethical duties to clients and moral. If you think the cost of buying and selling a home won't skyrocket if Rob Refkin gets his way with a repeal of clear cooperation, think again. I was recruited by Compass with a nearly 7-figure offer. Here's why I passed it up then, but may reconsider if he gets his way. This guy's selling a lot of houses if he gets a 7-figure offer from Compass. Okay? Just putting that out there. I seriously considered the offer, but I learned I wouldn't be allowed to lower my commission or offer buyer rebates to compete, which was a deal breaker. So that whole commissions have always been negotiable has always been a lie. He's talking about Compass. Compass has only almost 20% market share in our area and highly encourages agents to list their properties in private placements, restricting access to only other Compass agents. This creates a massive shadow inventory that benefits Compass and their buyer clients. If clear cooperation goes away, many agents, including myself, may reconsider joining Compass due to this competitive advantage the smaller brokerages can't match. Compass will ultimately grow off its own market share, gaining more pricing power that will raise costs for buyers and sellers. The pitch: sign this buyer's agency contract to see off-market homes, but don't expect me to lower my fee. Want affordable options? Too bad you can't see these listings. Yeah, I mean, the chances that they're going to show you a house outside of their own network is none. The lack of competition will hurt both buyers and sellers, creating an unscrupulous environment lacking transparency. And we haven't even begun to discuss the potential harm to sellers. The gaslighting is unreal with this guy. And then somebody from Compass apparently reached out to Khalil, and we'll just go over that. It says, welcome to the future real estate. Listings shared in secret agent-only circles. Buyers forced to pledge brokerage loyalty and only approved platforms allowed to display homes. Untainted listings and preserve the narrative. What kind of dystopian, anti-competitive nightmare is this? It's absolutely anti-competitive. It's absolutely a nightmare, and it will absolutely destroy most brokerages. And if we're supposed to be competing, you need to have as many brokerages as you can. Anyway, you aren't following me. I would love to speak with you on a video or phone call to explain how this isn't a false narrative. Yours is. Saying the same thing over and over for decades doesn't make it true, nor does it mean it is what's best for sellers. Imagine a world where we, you and me, and all agents share untainted listing info with each other privately for price discovery, much like a focus group before any product launches. Well, why would you need to do that, though? In a hot market, I can have a property sold within a day with multiple offers, within hours. I mean, I don't need anybody to do price discovery for me. The market does that. I just need to get my listing out there to the most people, most eligible people possible. Then the property goes out to the public where you, me, or whatever agent was hired by the seller is listed as the contact for the property to properly present the home and its nuances to colleagues from other firms and the public. Then imagine we syndicate to third-party aggregators after this period, but only third-party aggregators who preserve the narrative of the home that the seller wants to present, and only handled by the exclusive listing agent when they pay their service. This is a win-win-win for all of us, and most importantly, the seller. Your narrative makes me think you may be an expert on one of these aggregator sites that hides the listing agent's contact info, the listing agent that the seller hired to sell their home. How is that right? See, there's just an absolute disconnect. Compass is running away they think that they should be running, okay? They're like, we're going to take all the listings, we're going to keep them all in-house, and we're going to sell them to other Compass, and everybody's going to want to be part of Compass because of that, all right? That's the way they think. And anything against that is totally like, they have no idea. They just don't understand, and they don't want to. They don't want to. So it's very, very fascinating to be in my position. When Compass came to St. Louis, I mean, they bought agents. I mean, that's what they did, and that's how they grew very, very quickly. I have no problem with that. I mean, that's the way the market is. I mean, well, everybody likes to be flattered. So I have no issues with that. But if you think, and I understand that clear cooperation is terrible as far as the way it's set up right now. And I agree that the MLSs are heavy-handed and they're not doing their best work, but I also see that they're getting sued out the wazoo and being forced to implement procedures like they're supposed to be the enforcement arm for the buyer's agency agreement. I mean, this is just, it's such madness, okay? So anyway, I mean, there's problems, right? How as a buyer or a seller do you best protect yourself? Well, I think right now it's obvious without a shadow of a doubt that if you don't get it on the MLS, you know, you're hurting yourself. I just have no doubt about that. And having been in the business for over 20 years now, I mean, that's the way it is. If you don't get on the MLS, you're not in a good situation. Now, you could always make an argument that when your property was overpriced and sat on the market for 200 days or longer. I mean, I see houses that sit on the market for 600 and 700 days. Then you've missed on the price and you're wasting everyone's time. That's just the way it is. An exclusive listing isn't going to fix that problem. I mean, it's just like, ugh. So let me know what you think. This isn't going to go away. This is just like the NAR settlement. It's just going to kind of bite at your ankles for the rest of time. And so I would be interested. Know what you think. I know what I think. With that, I'm going to head on out. It's been a long one. I'm sorry, but I just wanted to go over that because I thought it was somewhat interesting. The links to all that stuff, I don't want to misrepresent anybody. The links to everything are going to be in the description. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye.